Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So sorry for not uploading the past few days. That's a story time for another time. But today's story time, in my opinion, is a pretty good one. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's just jump right into today's story time topic. So today's story time topic is about this old friend of mine. Let's just call him John, okay? Now, John was somebody that I knew in middle school. We were friends when we were really young, and then we stopped being friends for stupid reasons. We kind of just lost touch. And then when we got into high school, John started hanging out with the wrong crowd. Now, I'm not trying to sound like some boomer who's like, oh yeah, he was a part of the wrong crowd. But no, literally, he was a part of the wrong crowd. He started hanging out with these 3 kids in high school that were pretty known for just not doing good things. They would rob people and steal their stuff and then sell it online. They would do all sorts of things that were not good. And then towards the end of high school, they actually ended up joining a gang together. All of those people, my friend John, his friends, they all joined this gang together. And it wasn't some crazy famous gang, known around the country. It was kind of like this local thing that only locals knew about. But it's not like this was just some, little group of friends that would hang out and, get into trouble sometimes. This was a legitimate, just not good group of people. They were known for doing tons of bad shit. Long story short, John got involved with a bad crowd of people, okay? In high school and then out of high school. And yeah, I was really upset about it because, John was a good dude. I didn't like seeing him go down that route, but at the same time, I can't control his life. He's going to have to make his own choices. And if he makes a bad one, that's on him. So yeah, out of high school, I didn't see John very much. I'd go to parties all the time, and he was never at them. I would go to my friends' houses. None of my friends talked to John anymore because John was hanging out with a gang. And yeah, needless to say, John kind of was just cut off from everybody's friend group because no one could trust him. They didn't want to get robbed. So yeah, a few years go by outside of high school. I didn't really see him very much. I'd hear about him and stuff, and I'd see him on social media, but I never saw him in person until last year. That's when everything changed. So a good friend of mine was hosting a going away party for himself because he was moving to another state. And he was inviting all of his close friends from high school and all over the city to his house to just party that night and kind of just celebrate him leaving and getting this new job that he got. So I was kind of stoked on it. So the night comes along to go to this party, and I was really excited to see all my friends and, just see my good friend before he moved away. And I get a text message from a pretty familiar number, and it says, "Hey, Austin, is this still your number?" Now, immediately I start running through all these, things in my head, okay, who could this be? Could it be a hacker? Could it be, an old friend? I just start getting a little bit nervous because I don't know who it is. But the number looks really familiar, so I reply, and I'm like, who is this? And they replied back, immediately, and it says, "Yo, dude, this is John, we went to school together, remember me?" Now, this caught me completely off guard. Out of all the people that would be texting me, I did not expect it to be John. So I respond, and I'm like, "Yeah, man, what's up? Of course I remember you, how have you been?" Because I didn't want to ignore him, because I felt like if I ignored him, it would, ignite some unnecessary beef that we don't need. So I respond to it, and I just kind of say, how you been? And he's like, "Good, man, how have you been?" I'm like, "Good." He goes, "So you going to the party tonight?" Now, I did not expect him to be going, because I didn't think he knew anybody there. But I was like, "Yeah, I'm going. Are you?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm going. I'm looking forward to seeing you." And I'm like, "For sure, dude. You too. I'll see you later." And he's like, "Yeah, man, for sure. And also, congrats on everything happening in your life right now, man. I see what you've been doing. Me and my friends talk about you. Very, very, very stoked on your success." And I was like, "Thanks, man." Now, honestly, I didn't know whether to feel honored from the compliment or concerned, because he said that him and his friends talk about me, and all of his friends are not the best people. They've robbed other friends of mine, and they just weren't good people. So I was a little bit concerned when he said that, but at the same time, he was being nice, so I just kind of took it as a compliment, and I was like, "Thank you so much, bro, that means a lot." And then he responds, and he's like, "Yeah, man, no problem. So how much does something like YouTube pay? I'm just curious." Now that's when I knew the conversation was going in a weird direction, and I just responded. I'm like, "Hey, man, sorry, I can't talk about that. I'm on a contract. I'm not allowed to say." And he goes, "All good, man," and he puts the winking face emoji. And I just think to myself, what the fuck does that even mean? Okay, whatever. So I just put my phone down and stopped thinking about it, because I started to overthink at this point. And yeah, I got ready for the party, and I headed out. So I get to my friend's house, I get to the party later on that night, start hanging out with all my friends. The beginning of the party was really awesome, a lot of fun. And then halfway through the party, John showed up. And John didn't show up alone. He showed up with 3 of his friends that were a part of his little gang, and they weren't invited at all. The only person that was invited was John. So he brought 3 of these friends that were not invited, and my friend, the one that was hosting the party, immediately saw this and walked up to John and was like, yo, like, you gotta leave. Like, you can't have all these people here that I don't know. Like, it was only a +1, not a +3. And John did not take that news lightly. And he's like, look, bro, you want me at your party? My family has to come to the party too. Like, we're a package deal. And my friend goes, okay, then leave with them. Like, you can't stay here if they're all gonna be here. Now, the only reason my friend was being a dick about this is because he knew John and John's friends. Like, they were literally known for doing bad shit and causing problems, especially at parties. So my friend didn't want his going away party to turn into a shit show. So he kicked them out. And John got pissed off. He threw a fit. He started yelling at my friend. And my friend was like, nah, bro, like, get out. Like, leave. You're not allowed. I'm going to call the cops if you don't leave. So John turns around with his friends, and they all leave, and they go to the front yard to get back in their car and leave. And right as he's about to get in the car with his friends and leave, he makes eye contact with me, and he sees me in the yard, and he points at me and does like the come here motion with his finger. And I think to myself, like, okay, I can either ignore him and walk away, which will probably cause an even bigger issue at my friend's party, or I can go up to him and like say goodbye. So I think to myself, like, okay, I'll just say bye to him. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Not knowing that, it was a bunch of dangerous ass people. So I walk up to him. I'm like, yo, what's up, man? He's like, yo, I knew that was you. Like, what's good? I'm like, not much. Just kind of hanging out at my friend's party. And he's like, yeah, man, I tried to. I didn't know our friend turned into a little bitch. And I'm like, don't take it personal, bro. I think he just wants close friends and family here because it's his going away party. Like, don't take it personal. And he's like, I am taking it personal. Like, he made me leave because my friends are with me. Like, these are my family. And I'm like, I get it, bro, but like, this is our homie's day. Like, it's his going away party. Like, just let him have his moment. You can hang out with your friends any other day. And he's like, yo, are you really siding with him right now? Like, you really siding with him? This is why I stopped fucking with you, Austin. Like, for real. Like, you're a bitch now. And I'm like, all right, man, well, have a good one. And I turn around and I start walking away. And he goes, nah, turn around. And I turn around and I look at him and he goes, get in the fucking car. And I'm thinking to myself, like, that's a bad idea. I'm not getting in his car. So I say that. I'm like, nah, man, I'm not getting in your car. Like, have a good one. And I go to turn around again and he goes, Austin, get in the fucking car. And he puts his hand in his pocket and he like moves his pocket around a little bit and I could see the outline of a weapon. And I was like, okay, fine. So I walk up to the car and I get in the back seat. And at this point, I knew that 110% I'm going to have something bad happen to me. Whether it's me getting jumped, robbed, both, or worse. Like, I didn't want to think about it. I was so, like, filled with anxiety about this. So I walk up to the car, I get in, they shut the doors, and they drive off with me in the back seat. And somehow, nobody at the party noticed this. Like, everyone had their eyes on them when they were getting kicked out. But then when I started talking to them, everyone took their eyes off us. Like, nobody saw this. So they drive me all the way into the middle of a dark field down the street because my friend lived in the middle of nowhere. And they drive me down to this dark field and they park the car. And John goes, okay, get out, Austin. And he tells everybody else to stay in the car and that this will only take a minute. And when he said that, I just got even more terrified. I'm thinking like, okay, I'm in the middle of a dark field. He's telling everybody to stay in the car and that it's going to be quick. Like, this means that something bad's going to happen. Something really, really, really bad. So we get out of the car, and he walks up to me, and he goes, empty your pockets. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, I should have known this was coming. So I empty out my pockets, and I only had my phone and my wallet. And my wallet was completely empty. There was no cash in it, just credit cards. And he goes, you got any cash on you? And I was like, nah, man, like, this is all I got. And he's like, all right, what credit card has the highest credit limit? And I was like, this one. And I pull out one of my cards. And he goes, all right, let me see it. And he takes it from me. And he goes, look, here's the deal. I'm going to get back in that car. And I'm going to drive away. I'm going to try and make a purchase in 5 minutes. If the purchase goes through, then I won't come back here and beat your ass. If it doesn't go through, meaning that you canceled the car the minute we drove away, I'm coming back here, I'm going to find you, and I'm going to get real revenge. And I'm like, all right, dude, like, don't worry, I'm not going to cancel it. He goes, all right, give me your phone. And he grabs my phone out of my hand and just throws it into the middle of nowhere. Like, I have no idea why he did that. He could have stolen it and sold it for money. Or like, tried to hack my accounts or something. But no, he just threw it into the middle of nowhere so that I couldn't call for help. And yeah, he gets in his car and drives off with his friends. So the minute his car was out of sight and he was gone, I just start running further into this field, looking for my phone so I can call for help, or so I could find my way out of this field. Like, literally, it was so big. So I'm looking around, just trying to find my phone in this tall grass, and I can't find it. Like, I'm just searching and searching, like 10 whole minutes go by, can't find it, and all of a sudden, in the distance, I start hearing my ringtone go off, and I start running towards the sound. And to my luck, I find it in this field, just ringing, and it was my friend back at the party. And he's like, yo, where'd you go? I'm like, yo, John took me to the middle of a field and robbed me. Like, I'm in the middle of this field down the street from your house. Can you come get me? He's like, bro, I'm on my way. And I just start like just rejoicing. Like the one time I didn't have my phone on silent, it saved my ass. So not even 5 minutes later, my friend was pulling up. I get in his car. He's like, yo, what happened? I tell him the whole story. He brings me back to his house, to the party. I hang out there for like 2 more hours. And the entire time I was checking my phone, like my transactions, and there was no credit card transactions on the card that he stole from me. Like there was nothing coming through. And I was so confused. So later that night, I go home, I leave the party. It was a fun party other than the fact that I got robbed. I go back to my house, I sit down, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, what do I do? Do I cancel that card? Like, if I do, what if he knows where I live? What if he tracks me down and, like, beats me up or something or tries to rob more of my stuff? Like, I just didn't know what to do. And then all of a sudden, while I was just sitting there deep in thought, I get a phone call from this random phone number that was, like, a completely different area code than where I was from. And I answer the phone, and this lady's voice goes, hi, is this Austin? And I was like, yeah, that's me. And she said my full name. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, I'm just calling from blah, blah, blah bank. I'm just letting you know, like, there was a transaction for over $3,000 on your card. Is this you? And I was like, no, that's not me. And she's like, oh, no, like, do you want me to cancel your card and send you a new one? And I was like, that'd be great. And she goes, all right, I'm on it right now. And yeah, she cancels my card and sends me a new one. She told me it'd arrive in the mail in like less than a week. So yeah, I was getting a new card, and all of my other ones were completely intact. He never stole any of my other ones. He only stole that one card, and he didn't even get to make one purchase on it. The one purchase that he tried to make was too expensive, and it made my bank aware that someone was trying to commit fraudulent activity. So they just called me and canceled it, basically. So yeah, that was pretty much an L on his part. I'm still confused to this day. Like, I don't know why he didn't take all of my cards. I don't know why he didn't take my phone as well. But he only took that one card and completely failed at trying to steal money from me. Like, yeah, just biggest L in the world. He never found out where I live, by the way. He never came looking for me. I think he was just kind of, wallowing in his L of not succeeding in robbing me. But yeah, guys, moral of this story is be safe out there. Always make sure that you're hanging around with people that you can trust. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, I thought this was a pretty crazy story time. I hope you guys did as well. If you enjoyed this story time, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace. They leave me out for the dead, and now they know their fault. All my texts are